everybody, what's up? We are the Uncensored Anime Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things anime and manga uncensored. We are your hosts. I'm David. We got Jerry. We got Kenny. This is episode 68. One more until we are at the legendary episode 69. Nice. And today there's some, I guess, drama, you would say, Jerry?
I'd say drama. I'm going to call it drama.
Some drama.
For sure. I'm going to call it drama.
We've turned into the, talking about anime and manga.
We're
talking about drama.
Manga drama podcast.
We are the new drama alert. We will see you.
I don't want to be associated with that. Yeah, I don't want to be associated with it.
Wait a
minute.
minute.
Fuck that guy.
But we love drama. We like a little, we like to tell everyone. You might not be aware of like the Twitter drama that has happened recently regarding a bracket.
A bracket.
Jerry, why don't you tell them a little bit about this bracket?
So, we decided that today's episode, unlike last week's episode where we literally said we were going to talk about TikToks and then talked about not TikToks for like an hour and a half and then talked about TikToks for like 20 minutes. Today's episode is going to be exclusively dedicated to the Manga of the Year bracket and the drama surrounding said bracket, as well as a little bit of what that story and lead up is for those of you who are behind on it and don't really understand what was going on with the Manga of the Year bracket, and sort of what the end results were as well, because it has happened as of this recording. The Manga of the Year bracket was decided, and they did decide on an answer. So we want to kind of give our perspective and opinions on the way that panel of judges voted, as well as just on the whole situation at large. So, David, Kenny, are we ready, guys?
Yeah, so for me, Manga of the Year, in my bracket, personally...
Right.
It would have been Vampire Night.
Right.
Obviously, it would have been Vampire Night. This is the Vampire Night podcast, and for most of y'all out there, you tune in for the Vampire Night podcast and the Vampire Night content.
Yeah, I feel like Vampire Night was definitely number one,
and so that's all that matters. Yeah. And so other than that, I don't know.
Crazy.
Are there other manga?
That's crazy.
Are there other ones?
I'm shocked that jumping ahead a little bit, but we will also be talking about another bracket. And I'm surprised Vampire Night isn't on that bracket.
Wow.
It didn't even. Yeah, did it release chapters during 2022? That is one of the. Well, that is one of the.
No, it did.
Wow,
yeah, okay,
wow.
It didn't.
What are you talking about?
Did Memories not release any?
Memories did.
Did it act in Japan? Or is the U.S.
There's been new English
The U.S.
volumes.
dropped an English volume
right
this year.
I think 2 volumes this year.
Wow.
Right.
But I don't know how that's being serialized. I don't even know if it's like a weekly or a monthly.
I know
or whatever.
Nothing about it. So
basically, all the bad manga didn't win, and all the good ones did. So that's what we're going to talk about.
That's it. Concluded. We're done.
Yeah.
Well,
wrap it up.
One could say the winner isn't deserving.
It was something.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so here is the brief, the rough and dirty, the TLDR of what happened. So, a YouTube content creator by the name of RogersBase, which everybody might know, they might not, I don't know. He's moderately large. He's got like 350K or something like that.
Pretty
on
popular
YouTube.
YouTuber.
I'd say pretty popular, and definitely one of the more well-known One Piece YouTubers out there. That was kind of where he grit his teeth. About 2 or so years ago, he started doing a Manga of the Year like live stream where he would get a panel of people together and have them kind of vote down and do like a bracket style live stream, deciding like what was the best manga that released in that year. And obviously the brackets always could include essentially any manga that published chapters in that year. It didn't have to start in the year, it didn't have to finish in the year. Essentially any manga that he would have in that year. I'm not really sure how his previous 2 went, but I do know they were probably on a little bit of a smaller scale. Definitely didn't seem to get as much traction, at least not in the Twitter sphere, as it did this year. So this year, Roger does the thing that he's, I guess, always done. He releases a Google form and he asks the audience to essentially submit their top 3 manga of 2022. And, being that he is a One Piece YouTuber and having a primarily shonen base, a lot of the votes that came flooding into this tournament were mostly shonen manga, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We essentially only saw... Actually, I think it was all shonen, and maybe like one seinen? Something like that.
Yeah, I think the majority of the end bracket was like 80% of Weekly Shonen Jump. It was basically every single, except for the comics.
Not exactly Weekly Shonen Jump. I would say not. No, not exactly. We'll go over each of the titles, but actually, I think
pretty sure a lot of them are.
Let's see here: One Piece, Akane Banashi,
Yep.
Black Clover,
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter,
Undead Unluck.
Mission Yozakura Family, Undead Unluck, Jujutsu Kaisen,
I think Witch Watch is in there too.
Golden Kamuy, My Hero, Witch Watch, Sakamoto Days. So 10 of the 28. It's only about a third were Weekly Shonen Jump.
No, I'm saying like of Weekly Shonen Jump, a majority of those series were in the bracket.
Sorry, yes. You mean the other way. Okay, I thought you meant a majority of the bracket was. No, you're saying a majority of what runs in the magazine got nominated.
Right. Oh, yeah. Just like further emphasizing the fact that the majority of the fan base, as this was kind of meant for, are shonen heads.
Well, yeah, and one thing we have to always remember is that those 10 series, from the start of 2022 to the end of it, you read every chapter the moment it released in Japan. You know what I mean? There was those are 10 series that have no accessibility issue because even for free, as long as you were caught up, you could use the official Viz website and you could legally read all 10 of those series for free every week. You got to remember that. For the first, I think it's for the latest 3 chapters, you can always read those for free. You don't even have to pay the $1.99, which controversy
is now
controversy.
$2.99.
$2.99. Controversy.
Everything gets more expensive. Okay, that's all they do.
Inflation, baby.
More and more expensive.
Controversy. But obviously, so if you pay the $1.99, you could read the backlogs of all those 10 series. You could have read. But those are 10 series that, without question, legally, you could read unquestionably. And there's actually more series on here that ran in Shonen Jump Plus, which I did not count, that also you were able to read weekly, legally, without question here in the U.S., day to date, essentially with Japan. Right. Which I think that access, increased visibility, allows for more American and English-speaking audiences to nominate. I think that's why these series were nominated, is because of how accessible their 2022 chapters are versus some of the other series that are on this list and some series that most likely didn't get nominated, mainly because, I think about like one off the top of my head, Call of the Night. I think Call of the Night had a great 2022, but honestly, I wouldn't know because the volumes that have been releasing in English this year, they came out in Japan in 2021. Yeah. Maybe even a little bit before that. Those are not released day to date here in the U.S., so because of that, if I wanted to read the 2022 chapters or be caught up, I would have to do that.
You have to yo-ho-ho.
Yeah, I'd have to hit the 7 Cs.
Yeah.
Which is, something else. But I think that the chapters that released in English physically this year were great and probably deserved to be on this bracket if that was what was nominated. But I have no idea what the 2022 chapters were, which makes it all the more confusing when trying to nominate only series that were released in 2022 in Japan, essentially, which makes it more confusing. I don't know if it was ever clarified for this bracket if series that have English physical releases released 2022 chapters that were released in Japan prior to. None of these series, that is not how any of them were talked about, if that makes sense. Like, everything that was on this bracket, people talked about what was released in Japan in 2022, not about what was released physically in English in 2022. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So for you listeners out there, so this was a approximately 6-hour long live stream of discussion of this 1v1 kind of battling, and the panel, the judges would then through debate decide which one is better. Undead Unluck versus Chainsaw Man, which is better, and they would decide bracket style.
Right.
Winner. So Jerry listened to this entire live stream.
I did.
Now, with what you just said with regards to, do you think any, and I think this also kind of goes into the backlash and then the response from Roger and the judges, but do you think, from what you listening, was there any kind of acknowledgement or just any kind of acknowledgement to the decided on series, and for those that were frustrated that a majority of these were shown in? Or is that just like the vocal minority that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, no, this is, so in the live stream, they didn't talk about that at all. I mean,
it was just fun times.
Respectively so. Like, if I were Roger, I wouldn't want to dish on that. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like, you put this together, you just want to have the event how you planned it. They briefly mentioned in the beginning, Roger got a little salty. If you want to go check the live stream, I don't think he edited any of it out, so it's probably still in there. He just kind of mentioned, who cares? This is mine. This is how we're doing it. He didn't directly call anyone else out, but certainly it was very heavily implied what he was referencing, which is the drama that we're about to get into. So here's where it got dramatic.
Okay.
Roger puts out this form, boom, Manga of the Year form. He gets almost 11,000 submissions. Sorry, not titles. So that means he had like 11,000 people participate in the forum, which is great. Right. It was like 10,090 or something ridiculous like that. Okay. So of that, he tabulated all of the votes, and remember, each submission was allowed to submit 3 titles, and he tallied it all up. And I think he picked like the top 18 or something from that vote, and he released into the wild. He said, "Here are the top 18 that are going to get seeded into the bracket." I want to say it was 18. It could be 20, and then they did 8 additional ones. It was something like that. A certain number got immediately seeded into the bracket. That initial list was, I think, 90% shonen, and I want to say Berserk was like the only seinen on the list or something like that, which is silly in and of itself. But
especially for kind of 2022, it had like 3 chapters.
Couple of chapters, yeah. It was just
same
with
Hunter x Hunter,
chapters,
like couple chapters.
But they're good.
But they were good, yeah.
Good,
Don't run, yeah. Definitely in the contention.
Are they good, or is it like hype that it's bad?
No, they're good. They're good.
Hey, David,
they're good.
They were good.
Okay, Kenny says they're good. I'll take his word for it.
Let me tell you, Hunter x Hunter is the best it's ever been.
Okay, so here when Roger posted, I don't think there was any drama around this. Even he actually asked for judge nominations prior to this, and the judge nominations went over fine. Although I will say it's a little weird that Roger only picked 12 people who identify as male. I don't know why he did that.
Were there females that submit that?
I'm sure. I have no idea. He did the nomination.
Assume, yes,
he did the judge nomination in a very unique way. He just put on Twitter, "Hey, if you really think this person would be a great judge for our panel, tweet at me and put their."
So it would be like community people that would
I guess what I'm saying is that he had people tweet at him, people you think should be a judge.
That they would nominate.
But I don't know if he went through and like counted everything and said, okay, these 12 people got the most. You know what I mean? Like I think that once he got people sending in submissions, he just kind of parsed through them and picked a couple people. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there was like any sort of numbers game at play there. I think it was literally him just
just his choice.
Again, I think it's a little odd that he just was like, oh, these 12, unless he did legitimately take every tweet that was tweeted at him and tabulate it, and those were the 12 judges that got the most submissions. If that was the case, so be it. Cool. But I will say at least one judge only has like 180 subscribers on YouTube, and he had like less than 300 followers on Twitter. So like, unless he just got bombarded with that guy by like a bunch of his friends or someone, I'm not sure how that guy would have been a top 12.
Right, if we're going based off like numbers.
If it was a numbers game. That's why to
unlikely.
Me it appears he looked through all the submissions and was like, oh, these people seem good. Yeah, but again, I'm not sure why he picked 12 male-identified people, or if he even really knew what he was doing when he picked them. You know what I mean? Like, so he picked the judges, and then he did the votes, and then he announced, okay, here's my judges, and here's our top 20 or whatever that got vote picked. And then the drama started. Then it started, right? Then the drama began because the moment the list comes out, everyone's like, what in the absolute fuck is wrong with you fools? This list is just shonen. All these guys are shonen bros. You guys are foolish. There were so many better shoujo manga, josei manga that needed to be included in this bracket. You know, this is an absolutely fool's game. And, you know, I started seeing tweets about like, logistically, it's absolutely a dumb move to just do a public vote and then count those votes. That is such a non-appropriate process for an award ceremony like this. There needs to be much more guardrails and leverages in order to ensure that quality manga series are included on this list.
It's not like RogersBase is going to like pick the winner and like go to the mangaka's house and give him a trophy. Like,
no,
it's not.
Like, RogersBase is not the Oscars.
Yeah, it's not the Oscars. I think that here's where
there were 11,000 people that voted.
That was my initial response. I was like,
no, 1,100.
No, it was 11,000.
11,000.
Yes, 11,000 people.
Okay. Well, shit, that's a lot.
Pretty significant.
But still, basically the Oscars now. He needs some more guidelines.
Here's the deal. When this thing came across my feed, I went, cool. Some YouTuber's gonna have a fun live stream and pick their favorite manga this year.
Keyword fun.
Nothing came across where I was like, oh, this is such an important big deal. It's got to be important. It was just fun.
Just for fun.
This is a content creator making content. That's how it appeared to me. Yeah. But I'm also someone we make content. Yeah. Right?
You do.
Yeah. So I think that my perception was a little bit different.
David.
Because I think that Roger worked really hard to make it appear as if it was a really official award. Does that make sense? Yeah. In the way he was advertising it.
There's no trophy.
In the way he was... No, there's nothing. It
Not
was
even
just,
a plaque.
It was
like,
just
cool.
It was just a conversational live stream about mangas that they thought were the best based off of his community submissions. Mm-hmm. That was its original intent. And the initial submission form mostly stayed in his community. It wasn't until the announcement of what made it that it started, all of a sudden his tweet got way outside of his community. Yeah. And all of a sudden his tweet was all over the internet saying this guy's a fool, this guy's an idiot, da-da-da-da. Yeah. Calling out his way, his methods, the way he was advertising it, all this stuff. Respectfully, I think everyone is totally okay to have a opinion, if that makes sense.
No, we don't do that, Jerry. No, we don't do that. Kenny, do we do that?
Not everyone.
Do we do that?
No,
no,
I guess what I'm saying is that
no.
I think that if someone puts something on the internet
sure.
and it's around, I think respectfully someone else can have a perspective or opinion on it, right?
Absolutely.
But I think the issue starts to come in hand when instead of having perspective or opinion on something, you don't have any sort of constructive response. It's when things start to get problematic is when people are just tossing around mean words to say mean things, have nothing constructive to say, don't even attempt to have any sort of conversation. They're just there to be upset about something.
Just to troll?
To me, maybe troll. I think there was trolling occurring. But I think that becomes like, I get it. And I also understand that respectfully, people are just going to be upset about stuff. And it's their platform. If they want to then vent that frustration, it's not, we can't say shit about. We do the same shit on this podcast. Yeah. You can vent your frustration into your Twitterverse. I don't care. Do what you want. I think when it starts to get difficult for me is when people are just being mean. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's when I start to get frustrated because it's the mean-spiritedness that starts to get under my skin. Vent your opinion. Right. Tell people how you feel. Good golly, do what you want.
But if they don't get it, I mean, if my manga's better.
Oh Lord!
So, I
mean, the thing is,
time to start tweeting.
And that's exactly what people did, and it's like
that is what
it was so mean. I mean, like you're saying, Jerry, it was like so mean-spirited.
It just got mean-spirited.
Yeah,
people were like, whoever put this list together has the worst opinions in manga and anime. These people don't deserve their platform. Like all this,
but like the list,
up shit.
They didn't put it together. It was his. You weren't just insulting RogersBase. You were insulting the 11,000 people who tried to put in their genuine opinion and have fun with this live stream. Mm-hmm. Those are the people you were upsetting, or not even upsetting. Those are the people you were being mean to. Yeah. And to me, like that is when it's like,
and it's because there should have been more shows.
And I get it. Okay. Now people are trying to. There was some backpedaling where they're like, "Well, I'm just upset with the way Roger did it. I didn't like the way he did it, and that's fine."
But like critique. It's his bullshit. He can do it however he wants. There's
100%.
What right way? There were like the judges would like ask him like, okay, so how would you do it? And people gave like bullshit responses.
Oh yeah.
Like
I saw a really in-depth Twitter response of some guy saying like, I would have created guardrails to ensure the quality of the manga that was submitted, so that if there were submissions that were obviously of poor quality, then we would be able to delineate and remove those submissions, and then we would also have a selective judge panel that would be. And I was like, I get it. That's awesome, and that probably should be in place for large scale award ceremonies.
For like a legit, this isn't the Osamu Tezuka Award. Like this isn't like funded. Notable. It's for fun.
And I get it. He is a content creator that gets money from his community, all this stuff. I guess where I'm at is that I do see both sides of this, but I just don't know if there's like a great answer, if that makes sense.
Like a right way to.
Yeah, to me, it's like. Roger did what he wanted to do because it was his content, his platform. People have opinions on it. They voiced it. It got mean-spirited. I think that everyone really should have apologized, moved away from it, and gone on. But that's not what happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's not what happened, guys.
Yeah. There's just like this sense of like elitism.
Yes.
I think everybody should keep on the drama, actually, okay? Content-wise,
do you think people should double
down?
Much
more interesting. Yep. Everybody should be more mean on Twitter. That's what I'm telling you. Twitter is now a cesspool. You could be more mean. So go ahead and do it.
I mean, honestly, Elon's in charge.
Yeah.
Elon's in charge.
Do whatever you want.
Be mean.
Twitter's over. Okay.
So and this is kind of how I actually tweeted this, and so I'm surprised this happened, but I tweeted out and I said, as content creators, anyone who wants to do their own Manga of the Year stream, do it. Mm-hmm. Go out, do your thing, have fun with it.
And then what happened, Jerry? What happened?
Well, much to my surprise, a strong group of Shoujo and Josei fans decided to do just that. Mm-hmm.
And
they decided to... Stop. Sorry.
It's a joke.
No, that was rude. That was mean-spirited.
It's a joke.
We could have
I know there's a lot more than 200
right
Shojosei
now,
fans.
okay?
I'm a Shojosei fan. Okay,
I know, me too.
I'm one of the 200.
That's the worst part. Did you actually not vote?
No,
I didn't vote.
I didn't vote either.
I felt bad because
fans,
I just felt bad because I didn't think I had enough knowledge to submit like a really great submission.
I've read like 4 or 5 Shojosei this past year.
I don't read anything that's releasing currently. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to.
I felt like it was not in my best, so I just didn't vote. But
Kenny doesn't either.
Here's the deal.
I don't either.
So a group of strong supporters of the shoujo and josei variety decided to make their own awards, and I think that's fantastic. I don't know how you guys feel about
blackjack
and hookers
and.
Wait, there was that tweet. It's like we'll have our own manga tournament with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah,
that was that Futurama reference. But
Futurama reference.
So should we
Futurama reference.
Before we get into the Shojosei bracket, do we want to go into the actual shonen?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I think that catches you guys up essentially. So everything kind of fizzled out at that point. The shoujo and josei fans decided to do their own bracket. They had their own submission process, and actually their live stream to decide their winners is the day after we're filming this. So we don't know who the winners are. We're going to touch a little bit on what they actually ended up nominating. I think they did a good job with their nominations. But to go back to Rogers Awards, he ended up asking his 12 judges to put in like 8 more nominees that the general public didn't nominate, which when they did that, it brought in more seinen. It brought in 2 shoujo titles. A couple non-shonen works made it in because of that, which I do think that was interesting. I don't know if they were doing it just to do it. I will say during the live discussion, it did feel like there was actually some passion in some of those titles. Like some people definitely fought to get those 8 titles on or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
And there was a brief little scuff online between Roger and the shoujo community. Some
during the stream?
No. This was during Twitter beforehand.
During Twitter.
There was a little bit of a scuff because Roger then backpedaled and tried to invite one of them to be a judge last minute. It was kind of like an olive branch type thing, but honestly, it did feel a little bit what's the word? Yeah, to me, it felt like he was just trying to get them off his back. You know what I mean? Like he was just trying to.
Like it wasn't like a genuine offer,
right? If there was a genuine offer,
like
if there was a genuine offer, he would have sought that out prior to. Yeah. A judge would have already been a massive shoujo josei person if that's what he wanted on his panel to begin with. It's not like I know for certain the person he eventually extended the offer to. I know for certain only because I've checked. In the initial nominations he took for judges, I saw more than one person tweet at him to include that person.
Right.
So that person was certainly in the mix in the initial thing. So for him to then backpedal and offer her that after the fact felt honestly a bit rude from Roger. Roger, if you ever, you probably won't see this, but if you ever do, I understand.
Roger, if you ever see this, we've got beef.
Okay? No,
I will
we don't.
see you in the ring. Okay,
don't listen to him.
I will fight you right now.
He's drunk and high.
I will say that
YouTuber boxing is the way. Okay.
I will say, marketing wise, from a market, he did what he needed to do to manage the situation.
Yeah. He was using his social media to get it.
And I think he was doing his best to try to manage that. Something that was maybe a blind spot for him. So Roger, I think that was just something that you certainly had. And maybe it wasn't a blind spot. Maybe you had some other plan, intention. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, you did try your best to try to salvage, do what you could. And I understand your eventual decision to just say, okay, we're going to run this the way I plan and just move forward, which is what he eventually decided. He said, okay, let's just do the live stream. We're going to go through with it. So he seated everyone, all the shows, and he brought in his 12 judges, and he let them have a 6-hour long live stream where they, one by one, battled it out and then voted. If any series received 6 votes, they would then throw the vote to the chat to let them vote and decide which one would move on. It was very interesting. It was a very interesting live stream. If you have 6 hours, go and turn it on, flip it on. I thought it was quite the interesting thing. I watched it all live.
But finish this first.
Yeah.
Finish this
first,
and
then. So let's give it. I'm going to go through real quick and just kind of delineate the matchups. It's tough because we're an audio platform. If you're on screen, I might try to throw it up somewhere so that you can see it. If you're watching us on YouTube, but if you're watching us on, I'm going to quickly run through what the bracket ended up being. So the initial run was One Piece in first round was a bye. So essentially the bracket was broken up into 4 sections: the One Piece section, the Chainsaw Man section, the Jujutsu Kaisen section, and the One Punch Man section. Those 4 series received a first round bye, so they wouldn't actually have to compete until round 2. Okay.
So those are like the top 4 seeds?
Right. Essentially, those were the top 4 seeds.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
I mean, they're the top 1 seeds from each conference. That's how.
Kind of, essentially.
So
they picked 4. So then the series were broken down like this. So in the One Piece section, you had Kingdom versus Vinland Saga, Akane Banashi versus Oshi no Ko, Black Clover versus Children of the Whales. That was the One Piece seed. Chainsaw Man seed was Hunter x Hunter versus Berserk, Spy Family versus Mission Yozakura Family, Undead Unluck versus Ranger Reject. The Jujutsu Kaisen panel was Kaguya-sama Love is War versus Golden Kamui, My Hero Academia versus Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Witch Watch versus Witch Hat Atelier. And then the last one was One Punch Man seed, which was Eden Zero versus Blue Box, Sakamoto Days versus Dandadan, and Four Nights of the Apocalypse versus A Sign of Affection.
Wow. I haven't even read those manga. Those are manga?
The thing is, like...
No, we've read a lot of... Between the 3 of us...
Nope, I don't
We have
manga.
probably at least dabbled in almost everything.
Oh, yeah, for
this
sure.
is probably...
But, like, if like, the rules of this bracket is strictly based on the series chapters that released in 2022, I can only do half of that bracket. Because I can only do literally what's in Shonen Jump.
Very few... Yeah, exactly.
What I'm reading.
There's a lot... Like, Oshi no Ko, legally, you could not read anything.
No.
Kingdom, same deal. Could not legally have read Kingdom. Vinland Saga, the chapters that released in 2022, you could not read legally. Children of the Whales, you might have gotten a little bit of it. I'm not sure.
What magazine is that even?
It's a shoujo series. I'm not sure how cut up the English physicals are, though. You know what I mean?
I have no idea either.
What else? Berserk, you couldn't have read legally.
No.
Ranger Reject, you could not have read legally.
You can't read legally.
Golden Kamui, you couldn't have read legally. Frieren, you couldn't have read legally. Witch Hat, you couldn't have. One Punch Man, no, they do those chapters on Shonen Jump, right?
Yeah,
okay.
They're like kind of delayed. But
Eden Zero, you might. I think maybe the physicals of Eden Zero in America have a little bit of 2022 chapters, because I do know Kodansha stays a lot closer, like tighter to the Japanese release with their physicals. What else? Legally, you couldn't have done Four Nights of the Apocalypse or A Sign of Affection.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Essentially, to read all this stuff, you would have had to have pirated most of this.
You would have to. Yeah.
So you would have to gone with fan translations, which is a bummer. But obviously, the reason why a lot of these overperformed is because they are in Weekly Shonen Jump and their chapters released weekly, and you could have read the entirety. Like with Spy Family, you could have read every chapter that released in 2022. They are all fully available, digitally available on a legal platform right now today. You could go read all of those chapters, and you could have been reading them every single time they released, day to date. You know, they release the same time. Yeah. So I do think that gave a edge to some of those series. I think unquestionably.
Which is like that makes sense. I mean, if it's easy to read certain like I said, like I'm only caught up with like the Weekly Shonen Jump series. So like I don't even know if all those judges like I wonder like how many of those judges like had to have caught up before they're like judging to like add to the conversation.
To my understanding, a lot of the judges made it a point to try to have read some or all of every series on the bracket.
Wait, so like they could have not even read 2022 chapters? They could have just
potentially. Potentially some judges may have only been voting with little knowledge of some series. And some judges openly admitted that on the stream. They would be like, "Oh, I actually did not get to blah blah blah, so I'm voting for the other one because I've read it," you know. And some judges even openly admitted, "Oh, I only read volume 1 of that just to give it a taste. Yeah. I really liked it, but I'm in favor."
There needs to be more guidelines. Roger, come on. Are you trying to start monsters? What's going on?
The thing is, it's for fun, so like that, it's like whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
I would say that
can't really.
And here's the thing: a lot of these votes were pretty close. Yeah. I would say that the panel was split on almost every vote that occurred. Very rarely did a series like sweep the other series. Does that make sense?
Right.
There was very few sweeps.
Those are all good series.
Let me just run you guys through how the panel ended up voting. So just really quickly, this will only take a second, I think, once I run through it. Okay. So the first matchup, Kingdom won. Second matchup, Akane Banashi won. The third matchup.
Say who it was and then who.
Sorry. First matchup, Kingdom versus Vinland Saga, Kingdom won. Okay. Second matchup, Akane Banashi versus Oshi no Ko, Akane Banashi won. Okay. Black Clover versus Children of the Whales, Children of the Whales won. Okay.
Wow.
So then One Piece got seeded in against Kingdom, and One Piece versus Kingdom, One Piece won. Okay. Akane Banashi versus Children of the Whales, Akane Banashi won. And then One Piece versus Akane Banashi for the champion of that bracket, Akane Banashi won.
Wow.
So Chainsaw Man bracket. Hunter x Hunter versus Berserk, Hunter x Hunter won. Spy Family versus Yozakura Family. Yozakura Family. Oh, I was so pissed about that one.
Wait, but
Yozakura Family beat Spy Family in the first.
Maybe it's good right now.
Well, the thing is, so I'm not caught up on Mission Yozakura Family, but from what I've heard, it starts rough, but the middle and latest chapters are really good. But from personal experience, I don't know. I've only read the first volume.
I will say that what you just said is why Undead Unluck ends up winning this bracket. By the way,
yeah, I've heard
that is the most.
The argument I've seen all over Twitter is spoiler alert: Undead Unluck wins.
It's good. Thing. It's good. Yeah, we're gonna get.
It starts rough, but it's good now. So.
Okay, so Yozakura beats Spy Family. Okay. Undead Unluck beats Ranger Reject, and then Chainsaw Man goes against Hunter x Hunter in the next round. Chainsaw Man wins. Yozakura goes against Undead Unluck. Undead Unluck wins. Chainsaw Man versus Undead Unluck. I will say this with so much gusto. For some reason, Undead Unluck won that match, which again, I was dumbfounded by the way that conversation went. I'm not caught up on Undead Unluck, but I've read up through the English physicals. I do not care if Jesus himself descends on that series. There's no way.
Well,
there is no.
You said that.
There is no way that in the next. This is essentially what's come out is about 5 volumes from volume 9, which is what I've read most recently, right? 5 or 6 volumes past that. There's no way in 5 or 6 volumes that it got so much better that it is better than Chainsaw Man's this year. Chainsaw Man's chapters that released this year.
No.
I do not believe that is...
Well, we can't even say this year because it sounds like it's just series. But
no, they were supposed to be... They constantly... We were talking about the chapters this year. That was a major part of this discussion.
I mean, that sounds odd.
Are you caught up on Undead or no?
Yeah, I'm caught up on both. Chainsaw Man.
Oh, David's caught up on both. Would you have put... Do you really think Undead deserved the win there? There was no discussion. Here's what I'll say. There were 2 people in the chat that were just aggressively in favor of Undead Unluck. They just didn't. They weren't. Chainsaw Man's not that good, you know. And they were very vocal during the conversation, and they swayed other judges to vote the way
it actually worked. They actually got swayed.
Yeah, somehow they got swayed, and certain judges were like, "You are right. The Ragnarok and Undead Unluck is pretty dope," you know. And some of these judges were just like, "Yeah, you're right. Undead Unluck." I don't know. It was very sheepy. It was really weird.
Wait. Hear me out.
Are you caught up on Undead?
Hear me out.
I'm not.
RogersBase, I see what happened, okay? If something regular had won this bracket, nobody would have talked about it on Twitter.
It's all marketing. Nobody would have been upset. All marketing for you.
At the end of the day...
Actually, that's funny.
You told the fix was in. Undead Unluck won for one reason and one reason only. It's because you told everybody to vote for it.
But here's the deal. It did feel like there was more than one judge on the panel that was, for some reason, Undead Unluck was like one of their pet babies, you know? I don't even think... I'm trying to remember. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember if Undead Unluck even made it from the public vote. I think the judges inserted Undead Unluck, if I'm remembering correctly.
You think a passionate person...
I'm pretty sure that's what happened is on the judging panel, someone was very passionate, maybe even multiple people, and they got it pushed in and pushed it past Chainsaw Man to win the second bracket. Okay? So the semifinal matchup was Akane Banashi versus Undead Unluck on the left side of the bracket, and surprise, surprise, somehow... Despite Akane Banashi being so spectacular this year. Unquestionably.
Probably the best new Shonen Jump series that debuted this year.
Yeah, unquestionably to me, Akane Banashi is maybe one of the best shonen that ran this year. An incredible start. It deserves a lot of praise. It got beat out by Undead Unluck. So Undead Unluck won the left side of the bracket. Okay, so let's quickly go down the right side. Wow. So the right side, let's start with Jujutsu Kaisen's Bai category. Kaguya-sama win against Golden Kamuy, both series that completed this year, by the way.
Oh, Kaguya-sama was in the bracket. Oh, okay. For some reason I didn't.
Golden Kamuy beats Kaguya-sama, okay? My Hero goes against Freyrin. Freyrin beats My Hero. Pretty cool and respectful. I was actually pretty on board with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Witch Watch versus Witch Hat.
I feel like this year in My Hero, it's been like only bangers, though.
I don't know.
My Hero's been wild.
Let me rephrase. There was a guy on the judging panel, ChibiReviews. Love you, Chibi. Come on the podcast, please. He started that discussion by shitting on My Hero for like 10 minutes straight. He wouldn't let anyone get a word in. He shit on My Hero for like 10 minutes straight before that discussion got into anything. Yeah,
like he had that ready. Like
he pretty much the moment that started, he said, "Shut up, everyone! I'm gonna talk." You know, and then he just went forever, just shitting on until someone finally was like, "Chibi, I think we should probably talk about the other series or something like that." I remember he said that.
Why does he hate My Hero so much?
I don't know.
Why is he
just
My
passionate?
Hero?
Here's the deal, though. Freyrin was really good, but I'm not sure what released in 2020 in Japan. You know what I mean?
I've only read everything that's out physically in English.
Right, sorry,
and I love all of that stuff. I love all of those. But
great performance by what was released physically in English. I don't know what was going on in the Japanese chapters this year. So I think that's important to remember. I'm not sure, but Freyren moved on there. Witch Hat versus Witch Hat won. I think that's probably the right move. So then we get into the second half of that. So Jujutsu Kaisen had to go against Golden Kamui, and JJK advanced. I heard JJK had a good year.
JJK's been so...
Freyren went against Witch Hat, and Freyren also advanced. Again, pretty respectful. I think Freyren had a really good year. Probably. It's had everything prior to be really good.
Yeah.
Then in the matchup between JJK and Freyren, this was actually a really tough discussion, I remember. They went Freyren.
Okay.
I was surprised, just because JJK I thought was probably going to win the whole thing. But... there was enough holes in like what happened in this year's JJK chapters. People were like, well, if this was Shibuya's year, it would have won. I don't know.
I mean,
what does that even mean?
Some people just felt like this arc was worse than previous arcs of JJK.
Well, the Shibuya incident arc is probably my favorite shonen arc ever.
Then and I think that's going to be amazing.
But the Colleen game arc has also been pretty good too.
It's been
great.
It's been pretty great.
So then,
yeah.
Okay, no, I mean we could talk about.
Well, let's have our own.
I don't want to get spoiled because
no. I mean, we'll just leave it there. But
that's it.
Freyren advances.
Before you continue, are we going to do like our own bracket?
We could quickly, yeah. I think we could easily do it. Just really quick. Really quick.
Last time you said quick, it's been 25 minutes. All I'm saying.
No.
Why are you trying to leave?
That's 25 minutes.
I'm just saying, bro.
So here's the deal. So
real quick, we aren't even done yet.
Freyren wins out the top of the right side. Then in the One Punch Man bracket, we had Eden Zero versus Blue Box. And guys, Eden Zero won. And let me go back to the person who was passionate about Unluck, because he also loves Eden Zero.
Wow.
And so, I'll say this again. I don't know how the other content creators on there were. The two biggest content creators with the most subscribers were passionate about Eden Zero. They love it. It was For Neverworld and ChibiReviews. And For Nev himself, big boy, I love you, For Neverworld. Oh my God, for Never News. For Never News and ChibiReviews teamed up. They were both very passionate about Eden Zero. They convinced the judging panel to vote Eden Zero over Blue Box. And they convinced the judging panel. They convinced the judging panel that Blue Box was like if an AI wrote a romance series. That's where it went. What
does that even mean?
It's so generic and terrible, and it's like if an AI wrote a romance series. None of the romance hits. That was not Nev was not that rough on it. Someone else was.
But
I think it was Chibi.
Chibi
said something like, "I am a huge romance fan, but Blue Box it's terrible." Wow. And I know that because I've read so much romance. And I was like, "You probably read more than me. I've never read Blue Box." But Eden Zero, I have watched, and it's garbage. It's pure garbage. It's absolute shit. I don't care who you... Sorry, wow, I'm going to get railed for that.
Wait, you saying it's absolute shit?
Let me say respectfully, I believe that Eden Zero is a low-caliber piece of writing. That's all I'll say.
I've only watched the anime that's available on Netflix, and there was some sussy-ass shit in those first 24 episodes.
I think it's not very great.
I feel like that's generic.
I think it's not super well written. I don't think it's super well drawn or designed. I don't think it's particularly creative. I don't think it does a lot to challenge the demographic. I don't think it does much of anything to advance the genre. I think it's purely fluff fiction, and it's fiction you read for fun.
Hiro Mashima recycles the same characters. It's the same story, but in a different environment.
Shonen soup, baby.
And so that's why Eden Zero won on the bracket.
Guys.
And I can't
Kenny's right, by the way. It wins the whole side.
That's why it wins?
Wait. You're telling me Eden Zero beats JJK?
Well, JJK beat Freyren.
Freyren.
No, but Freyren does win at the very end. Sorry. Let me get to this. Okay, so
get it.
Eden Zero beats Blue Box. Sakamoto Days versus Dandadan. Dandadan wins just barely. That was a really tough matchup.
Wow. Four
Nights of the Apocalypse goes against A Sign of Affection. Everybody knew Four Nights was garbage, so A Sign of Affection kind of got a bye there almost.
Why was that even in the... Was that like another...
There was like one judge that was like really passionate about Four Nights, and they let him talk, but that was like one of the biggest slaughters of the whole tournament. It pretty much was like almost 10-2 or something for that one.
Okay, good.
Absolute slaughter. Four Nights really should have never been on this list.
I'm assuming Four Nights is like the ending of... It's a spin-off,
It's
right?
like a spin-off sequel to Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, something like that,
Which the last, the last 3/4 of Seven Deadly Sins is pretty ass.
Yeah, so Sign of Affection wins through that. So then you have One Punch Man versus Eden Zero. Guys, One Punch Man concluded one of its like most climactic, intense arcs ever.
Obviously, it's One Punch Man. Right?
No. Somehow these fools convinced everyone to vote Eden Zero again. Again, David. Eden Zero beat One Punch Man.
Wait, are you caught up on One Punch Man?
No, but I know what happened in this arc because it was all over Twitter. It was a phenomenon.
It went wild.
Kenny's caught up.
There's nothing.
Oh.
There is probably no. I will admit,
time.
I'm not caught up on Eden Zero. I can't conceive a world where Hiro Mashima's writing, art, technique, anything is even in the same zone, caliber, anything of one and
Yusuke.
Yeah. There's no fathomable world where when those two match up, Eden Zero should have won. I have no idea what happened. I listened to the whole conversation and I cannot believe it. I do think there was a lot of people on this panel that really liked Eden Zero. Mm-hmm. It was like something they just really loved. Wow. And I will say it again. I think Eden Zero is fluff fiction. It is fiction designed just to digest and move on. It's fluff fiction. It's fiction that is fun. It's bubbly. It's solid. It's it just exists.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do anything. It moves nothing. It makes nothing important happen. It is just fluff fiction. It's for fun. You read it and shell.
Like ever since that arc where that like Jabba the Hutt looking like motherfucker was like like sexually assaulting the like women and like enslaving them, I was like, this is weird.
Don't
it's
you
just
know?
It's
his
fluff.
name's Iliga because he does illegal things.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
To the big blue
so
trees.
In Mashima is great at creating fluff. It's just like those fucking.
He's good at what he does.
Hank the Cowdog novels, right? Yeah. Hank the Cowdog's not challenging anything important. It was fluff novels that you read as a kid. The fucking, I don't know, the Boxcar Children. That's just, sometimes fluff fiction is there and it serves a purpose.
Bro.
I'm saying Eden Zero's the same thing. It's for kids to just digest. People know those. But you know what I mean? It's fluff fiction. It's fiction just for people to just digest and consume and enjoy what it is and move on. It's not challenge. So I don't know why it would ever. I don't care if it be Blue Box, whatever, but beating One Punch Man seems very silly to me.
In my opinion.
So then Eden Zero goes up against A Sign of Affection. Oh, A Sign of Affection edges out Dandadan. Also surprised me.
Wow.
That one was a little more intense. So. I do know A Sign of Affection is really great. I've heard it's really fun. Alyssa has all the volumes. I heard it's really great.
Dandadan is really great.
But Dandadan's awesome. I love Dandadan. I'm a little behind on it, but I'm mostly caught up on it. It's great. Surprise, Sign of Affection edges it out. Eden Zero goes against Sign of Affection. Eden Zero wins again and moves on. Eden Zero goes against Freyrin in the finale of that side. Surprisingly, Freyrin takes it. There was enough convincing on the other side. People moved over and voted Freyrin, which turned the finale into Freyrin versus Undead Unluck.
Which I would say are just two mid manga, just
to me,
scraping by.
Again, respectfully,
Undead's good. Freyrin is very good.
If I think about writing based off what I've read of both, I would give it to Freyrin personally. If that was the final two,
if I had to choose between those two,
I think on a purely like artistic writing level, I would go towards Freyrin.
Right.
I think it's just really pretty, really well drawn. I think it just challenges a lot of this theme of like, how do we move on with life as the people around us die? It really plays with that really well, and you get just a really strong sense of theme and purpose in the series. As much as it is a fantasy series about like an elf girl, blah, blah, blah. And I've heard later there's some really climactic and fun fights as well. But overall, I think it just has a much stronger base, So if it was me voting in these top two, again, I'm not caught up on either. I would have gone Freyrin with what I've read of both, okay? If I catch up on both, would my opinion change? Possibly, because that one is a little closer. But let's talk about what we would have done in this situation.
Okay, so each of us think about 28 different anime or manga names, okay? And then we'll build our own brackets right here, right now.
No.
Each is 6-hour stream defending.
What is he doing right now?
I'm gonna run through it. Let's just vote, and whichever wins. There's 3 of us, so
we're gonna do this bracket.
Just quickly run it. Let's just run it really quick.
Votes. We'll talk a little bit, and we'll just move on.
I say we just vote it
just
out.
Vote?
I'm curious if based off
just first
Raw, Jerry, Kitty, and David. If we just voted our way through this bracket without conversation, where would we land as a winner?
All right.
So anything that gets 2 votes wins.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do only based off of this year's chapters.
Okay. I don't care.
Okay, go.
Kingdom versus Vinland Saga. Raise your hand for Kingdom.
I don't read Kingdom.
I don't read Kingdom
so
either.
Vinland Saga.
Raise your hand for Vinland Saga.
I pick Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga advances.
It's not like a fair.
Akane Banashi versus Oshinoko. Akane Banashi.
I've only read Akane Banashi, so
Oshinoko. Akane Banashi advances. Black Clover versus Children of the Whales. Black Clover.
I vote Black Clover.
I also vote Black Clover.
Wait a second.
Children of the Whales, or Black Clover advances. One Piece versus Vinland Saga. One Piece.
I mean,
One Piece advances.
He went
Akane Banashi versus Black Clover.
Akane. For Akane?
Ready? Akane?
Akane?
Black Clover. Okay, Akane Banashi advances. So Akane Banashi versus One Piece. So One Piece.
Oh.
Based off of 2022 chapters, we got that.
I'm voting One Piece.
In Wano.
Well, Kenny and I voted One Piece. So
yeah, it's already out.
It doesn't
matter.
I would pick one.
Okay, One Piece advances to the conclusion of that side.
Okay.
Here we go. Hunter x Hunter versus Berserk. Hunter x Hunter.
Based off of this year's
I'll
chapters,
vote
Hunter x Hunter.
Hunter x Hunter advances.
I read those Berserk chapters.
Spy Family versus Mission Yozakura Family. Spy Family. Spy Family advances. Undead Unluck versus Ranger Reject. Undead Unluck.
I haven't read
What is Ranger Reject?
It's the
quintessential
quintuplets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote
Okay,
against
Chainsaw Man versus Hunter x Hunter. Chainsaw Man. Oh, Hunter x Hunter. Chainsaw Man advances.
Damn it.
Spy Family versus Undead Unluck. Spy Family.
The thing is, I read more Undead Unluck than Spy Family.
Little wop.
I would go Spy Family.
Well,
Kenny and I vote Spy Family. So
I will Undead
Spy Family advances.
Dang,
Chainsaw Man.
The winner already out.
Chainsaw Man versus Spy Family.
See, I read more than
Chainsaw
Okay, ready? Chainsaw Man. I'd vote Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man advances. One Piece versus Chainsaw Man.
One Piece.
That's tough.
Sorry.
Let me think. Let me think.
No, sorry. One Piece. He's fucking Joy Boy. What the hell? This has been one
Gear
of the best.
Gear,
it's the best
honestly,
year One
Gear
Piece
5
in a
was
long
last year,
time.
though, right?
And we got to see everybody.
The finale was this year, though. The conclusion and final fight was
it's
all
getting
this year.
pretty fucking
Even if it got
Mickey Mouse.
revealed,
Was that the beginning of this year?
no, I think it was all this year. I think all of Gear 5 was this year.
Oh fuck! Was it like the beginning of this year?
Must have been, yeah. Because we didn't conclude Wano until about the summer.
Oh, because the jump volume with Gear 5 on it was this week.
Absolutely.
Huh? Then yeah, okay. So yeah, Gear 5 in Wano, all of Egghead.
Okay, so
I'd pick
on that note, One Piece advances and One Piece wins the left
One
side of the
Piece,
bracket. Okay, so as we get into the second half of the bracket, let's start at the top here. So,
Okay.
Kaguya-sama Love is War versus Golden Kamuy. Kaguya-sama.
I gotta go Kaguya.
I'm not caught up on either.
Golden Kamuy?
I pick Golden
David, you're the...
Kamuy.
Okay, Golden
Y'all
Kamuy
are
advances.
so
My Hero versus Freyrin. My Hero?
My Hero has.
Wait. This has been a great year.
My Hero's had one of the best years of its life.
But
So Kenny voted My Hero. I voted Freyrin. What do you vote?
Yeah, David, it's
You're
you.
tiebreaker.
It's up to you. You're the
Tiebreaker.
now.
Damn, I like both series. I would pick. I'd pick My Hero.
Wow.
Damn, My Hero advances.
Freyrin's
Witch
out.
Watch versus Witch Hat. Witch Watch?
I'm not coming either.
This is the toughest one.
This
because I
one
don't
is,
know
yeah.
much about
I
any
vote
of them.
Witch Watch because I
As-
think it's funny.
I'll give it Witch Watch.
I would pick Witch Hat.
Okay.
Wow.
Witch Watch advances.
Alright,
So,
fucking-
Jujutsu Kaisen versus Golden Kamuy. I would vote
JJK.
JJK.
Well, I mean,
JJK
you haven't even read
advances.
the chapters, though, bro.
I'm just based off what I know of each series. That's what I literally said. I would base off what I
Well,
read.
based on because I mean, a lot of the other ones we haven't read either.
Right.
No, yeah, anything that we... Yes. Okay, JJK advances.
This year in particular, I mean, come on.
easily.
My Hero Academia versus Witch Watch.
My Hero Academia.
My Hero advances.
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen versus My Hero Academia. JJK.
I think
JJK.
It's
I like
Jujutsu.
JJK.
It's had a better year, but
Jujutsu
honestly,
Kaisen advances.
Both
Hero's
have
not
had
had a
solid
bad year.
years, but JJK over.
Okay, last boxes. I think honestly we didn't need much discussion. We all are kind of in the same zone for most of this. Okay, so Eden Zero versus Blue Box. Eden Zero?
Blue Box.
Blue Box.
Blue Box.
Blue Box. Blue Box.
Garbage.
Easy.
Shit,
Blue...
get that shit out of
Okay,
here.
Sakamoto versus Dandadan. This is so hard for me.
I think I'd vote Sakamoto.
I'm gonna
Sakamoto's
vote
had,
Don.
Sakamoto's had a good year.
Okay, Kenny says Sakamoto. David says Dandadan.
It probably does, but I'm not.
I have to
on
base it off
Sakamoto.
what I've read of both. If I were to base it off what I've read of both, I prefer Dandadan. I'm sorry. Dandadan
Wow.
advances. Four Nights of the Apocalypse versus... This is
The
a
other one.
garbage.
The other one. The other
Si-
one.
anything but
Can we
that.
just cut that line
Yes.
entirely?
A sign of affection.
That's
okay.
so funny.
One
That's so
Punch
much
Man
in there.
versus Blue Box. I will go
Punch.
One Punch.
One Punch.
One Punch Man. One Punch Man advances. Dandadan versus A Sign of Affection. Dandadan for me.
I mean, I wish I read a Sign of Affection.
I don't know either of these, so.
I'll do Don. So
I-
we're both
Dandadan.
Dandadan. So Dandadan advances. One Punch Man versus Dandadan.
One Punch Man.
One Punch Man.
Easy.
Kenny?
Easy.
One Punch Man advances.
It's had a great year.
So the finale of that
The top 4
side
seeds?
is going to be... Oh, yeah. So the top 4 for us would have been Jujutsu Kaisen, One Punch Man.
So all the number 1 seeds.
Yeah, we literally...
Wow.
We personally voted through the 4 buys.
That's why
We're
the
the worst.
Undead Unluck winner is blowing up on Twitter.
We're kind of the worst, guys. That's terrible. That's funny. Though.
I mean, it's the reason why they're the top seeds.
And then what
There is. And honestly, I think they all 4 had great years, and I think they all 4... I thought... My guess... I texted this into the Discord. I said... I think that the 4 buys are going to be the top 4.
Wow.
None of them made it to the top 4.
That's wild.
None of them made it to the top 4. and we just voted, and even though we went through everything, we put them forward.
I mean, I think it just also...
So let's pick a winner.
It also just goes to show, like...
Also, there's no, where are all the sports manga?
There are no sports manga coming out right now.
What?
Literally,
Awashi and Blue Lock are both...
Oh, they both had good years, too.
And both had good years.
Yeah. Those are great...
Also, I'm surprised no one
I thought Call of the Night would have been in there. Fire Force finale happened this year.
What about Diamond the Ace? Isn't that still running too?
No, I think it concluded. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I saw something about it conclude. And then if we were talking shoujo, I do think that Don't Say Mystery probably should have been in there. I think Chihaya Furu, which concluded its lengthy run this year, probably should have been in there. At least those two.
Ongoing up
at least those two should have been in there for sure, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's finish this.
Okay, let's finish this.
4-4.
Left side, One Piece versus Chainsaw Man. What had a better 2022? We're all three caught up on both these.
One Piece had a better 2022.
I think so too.
One Piece had a better 2022.
I'll vote One Piece.
This is he got the best power he's ever had.
To me, One Piece, whether you hated Wano's conclusion or loved it, it was arguably one of the most talked about conclusions to an arc.
I thought it was a great conclusion.
And whether you liked it, and we talked about it on the podcast, obviously the three of us liked it.
We all dick ride.
Surprise!
We dick ride out.
One Piece advances.
But come on, the Looney Tunes, Luffy.
So cool.
I knew. Hey, wait.
But
I such a serious
all
tone,
of the new arc after
Wano.
The new arc after Wano has been awesome, guys.
Yep.
So awesome.
I want to say too.
I love it.
I called it 2 weeks before Looney Tunes Luffy came out. I said I think he's gonna have Looney Tunes powers.
I think he's gonna be like a Looney Tune.
I think he's gonna be
Bugs
Bunny looking
Bunny.
I literally said he's gonna be like Bugs
He's
Bunny.
probably gonna have it's a whisker wabbit.
What?
Wait, was that what?
That was like
I don't know what that noise was.
Was it
What
Elmer
was that
Fudd?
noise?
He says whisker
Wabbits.
Is that all right? You guys are crazy.
That's not what he
Okay.
It sounds.
One Piece.
He with Looney Tunes though.
Okay, Jujutsu Kaisen versus One Punch Man. Where would we put that?
Jujutsu Kaisen, I think.
I'm not caught up on either.
The latest arc
it's
for
purely-
Jujutsu Kaisen has just been great.
Okay,
Let's see where
caught up
David
on both.
goes.
Purely this year's content of JJK versus One Punch Man, I would have to give it to.
Oh shit!
It's so hard. They're both so good. I would give it to One Punch Man.
Wow.
Oh, so I'm the tiebreaker.
But Jerry's
If
gonna
I'm
go
the
for-
tiebreaker,
Oh,
just
you're
based
the
off
tiebreaker? Oh,
yeah, because you guys. Okay, so but here's the deal: if I can only base it off what I've read of both and what I've seen of both.
Yep.
Fuck, and you.
If I'm going with the one that I like more, unquestionably it's Jujutsu Kaisen. So I got to give it to JJK.
Okay.
I just like JJK better. So
Wow.
JJK wins that side in the final battle between One Piece and JJK.
One Piece.
One Piece.
I mean, he was just the king.
It was Looney Tunes, bro.
It's Looney Tunes. Come on.
But what year? Okay,
Year 5.
we're obviously
Looney
just
Tunes
the
punch.
we're the worst.
We dick ride Oda, and that's all
We're the
we
worst.
He deserves it though. It's earned.
Next time
To me,
RogersBase will come
unquestionably-
on as one judge as 3 people.
To me, that'd be funny actually.
We just have
We
one-
get one vote
The
for
thing
the
was,
three
if
of
I
us.
was a judge for this though, I would have read up to date all of.
Oh, I
the
would have
series.
caught up on all of them.
I would have caught up on all.
I would've
Or
caught
you
up
would
on
have
all of
said that you were going to.
No, I would have done it.
I would have tried my absolute damnedest to catch up on all.
Because I
of these.
want to be like as objective.
And I mean, it's actually.
And the way things are right now,
I'm
I think I'm
actually not
only
even
caught
I
up.
mean, it's all opinions.
not even that hard for you to, I feel like, catch up too.
It's all opinion.
Right? I mean, because you already read so much. We already read
Well, they
so
were Black
much.
Clover.
I'm
so
already
behind on Black
X
Clover.
of the way through a lot of these. I would just have to sit down and catch up on.
Yeah.
Very few would be Kingdom would be really tough. I've never read a
it
chapter
would
of
be
Kingdom.
easiest for
There's
me.
800 chapters of Kingdom.
It's
you know
hard
what I mean?
to find, though. I would already read it.
800 chapters.
Same thing like Vinland Saga. I've only seen season 1, so I'd have to start right there, and that's still like
Villain Saga is also long.
20 volumes of content or something like that.
pretty long.
Some of these would be, I think Oshinoko you could easily catch up on.
that's
Spy Family, Mission
Fire Red
Yozakura, Undead Unluck,
But
Ranger
yeah,
Reject.
basically
You could
we're
catch up on
saying
a lot of these.
The guidelines and the limitations of the RogersBase Awards just next year need to be stronger.
Tighter. And we should be on.
Yeah.
Community next year. I want you guys to get in his damn Twitter mentions and be like, at the UAP podcast.
We'll only have one
We really
vote,
want the
too.
UAP podcast to be on there. Let's get him on there.
The thing
I
is,
would
it's
love
all,
that.
It's all for fun. There's no right. There's no wrong.
There's not.
And the fact that people are like
Right,
up in arms, like literal pitchforks over this whole thing.
I mean, people would have been
Pretty
just as mad
ridiculous.
if it went the way that we just voted. People probably
People be like, oh,
One Piece just slaughtered in our bracket. Which
Yeah.
One Piece is great.
We love One Piece.
I mean, it was
Okay,
kind of
so
amazing.
notable missing ones. I think Blue Lock, Awashi.
Yep.
Probably both should have been in there somewhere.
Fire
Especially
Force.
over 4 nights.
They
Fire Force.
both have good years.
Like I said, I think Don't Say Mystery and Chihaya Furu probably should have been in this
Yep.
bracket. I think those were both all solid series. I personally would have put Call the Night in here.
Call the Night.
I think Call the Night had one of its best years.
Wait, fuck! I can't think of a currently running series that isn't in Jump. That's like good.
That's because most of what we are able to read is currently running in Jump.
Oh, I was gonna say this earlier. I think all this just like our discussion just proves that like the ease of access for these series, like the second they come out, is so important. Important. It's like if you can't read it, then how can you talk on it without?
Could you imagine if all these other great series had been being released day to day? You know what I mean?
I'm surprised Kodansha doesn't have an app.
There's some things like Blue Period. Like Blue Period probably could have been in this discussion. It's had a year. I think people probably. I know people caught up with Comey and Rent a Girlfriend. They're not going to be in this discussion. They're not making it in this. They're not making it here. Rent a Girlfriend and Comey had years. They released chapters.
Well, what? Toilet Bound is still running, right? That's good.
Hanako is pretty well known. Yeah, it's still running.
Dr. Stone was this year. No one talked about Dr. Stone.
The finale, conclusion of Dr. Stone happened in It was like early 2022.
I don't think it was its best year.
It was definitely not its best year of Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone barely had it. I also think it ended really early in 2022, didn't it?
Like in March.
I want to say it only published a month or two chapters, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of interesting stuff, but I do think those, in my head, the biggest omissions are Call of the Night, Aoashi, Blue Lock, Chihaya Furu, and Don't Say Mystery. I think those 5 could have easily been subbed in for stuff like, I don't know.
Like Soul Leveling?
Four Nights of the Apocalypse probably didn't need to be on there. Witch Watch probably didn't need to be on there.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Zero didn't need to be there.
You gotta catch up.
I actually agree.
Okay, wait. We can't keep being so heathenish if we're not caught.
Yeah, you're right.
Well,
I'll do it. Chibi, let me put it out there. ChibiReviews, fan of Eden Zero. If you come on this podcast, the 3 of us promise you,
I will catch up.
We will read the entirety of Eden Zero,
and I will
just to have a discussion with you about why you think it deserved to make it as far as it did, and why you think it's such a high quality series.
I would love to have that discussion.
I want to have that discussion, and I think you'd be the perfect person to have that discussion with. So, Chibi, if you ever see this, for whatever godforsaken reason, if this makes it to you, please, sir, we will have you on. I'd love to have that conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay. That is the RogersBase bracket.
That's the WAP bracket.
As you know, it ended with Undead Unluck. Ours would have ended with One Piece. God damn it.
One Piece.
Just the way it is. So let's take a brief look at what shoujo got nominated for their awards.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
So Shojosei, like I said, they made their own little bracket, and they have some cool stuff. I do think it's interesting because we want to briefly mention it, only because we are pretty out of the loop on this stuff. Definitely don't read many of these. So, Shojosei of the Year, let's just look at that one. So, they decided to also do, like, categories, so there are going to be, like, winners in each category, like mystery and drama, stuff like that. But let's just look at the Shojosei of the Year.
Are there more? There are more categories. Okay, so Shojosei of the Year, so you got A Sign of Affection, A Condition Called Love, Chihaya Furu, Yona of the Dawn, Do Not Say Mystery, My Love Mix-Up, Nabidame to Serenade, Nina the Starry Bride, Queen's Quality, and Skip Beat.
Wow.
And that's it.
And then I've heard of 2 of those.
They had other categories like Smut of the Year,
Romance of the Year. Which this is a cool idea.
Yeah,
I like that they decided to do categories so they could give a little shine to a lot of different series.
Yeah.
As opposed to just a full-on 1v1 bracket, single elimination bracket.
Yeah. Romance of the Year, Action of the Year, Mystery Drama of the Year, Comedy of the Year, and I think that was it.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Wow. So a couple categories, which is cool.
Yeah.
I personally have not read.
I think what I'm surprised about is there are two shoujos that made it into Rogers' bracket. Only one of those 2 got nominated for the Shojosei. So Children of the Whales didn't even get nominated for of the year.
Yeah, in their mystery drama.
They did. Yeah, they did include Children of the Whales in mystery drama of the year. It did not make it into the just like of the year one. And yeah, sadly, I don't think I've read any of these. I don't think I've read it.
I've seen Chai,
which is actually just a deep. You have?
I've seen it but anime.
The anime one.
Wait, Life Lessons with Uramichi Oni-san is a shoujo?
I think it's a josei.
Shojosei? Wow.
This is yes. Because of just you should go watch ColleensMangaRecs videos about what josei is, because just understanding why they kind of put them in one zone. You know what I mean? Shoujo and josei, just because of the way they've been categorized in Japan. There's a lot of good information in that video. You should go check those out if you want to learn more about what shoujo is and what josei is. She does a really good job breaking it down and explaining like why they've even been separated and what their separation means and why they're mostly also put together in a lot of things. So that's important to think about. I'm excited to see their results. I really want to know what ends up winning on their side.
I'll watch the live stream.
I do think, like I said, I think Chihaya Furu, even if I did not read it myself, I know that it's really well respected. I know it had a really great anime series. I know that the finale of the manga was really heralded. You know, a lot of people were really happy with it, and it concluded this year. I'm sure that probably puts it up and above. So I bet it had a great year. I would love to read it at some point.
Is it getting an English?
It's like
print?
A sports series, right? No.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not.
Similar to.
Right.
It's like it's a competition. I don't know how. Like sports, it is.
Okay, I got you.
It's kind of like how Blue Box is a sports manga.
Yeah.
Like Akane Banashi is a sport manga, low-key.
Yeah.
Well, but Blue Box isn't really a sports manga though. It's
other way around. Akane is a Rakugo manga disguised as a sports manga. You know what I mean?
Like, Blue Box uses badminton and basketball as kind of just like a literary device for improving the relationship between the characters.
David, Kinney, closing thoughts on these two award brackets. What do you guys think? If you had to just close it up in like a couple statements, what would you two put?
My closing thoughts are RogersBase. Why are we not in the fucking bracket, bro?
Where we at, bro?
That's some bullshit.
Why are we not on the bracket?
Where we at, bro?
We were a good manga this
year.
Where's
the WAP?
Where's the WAP? Where's the WAP?
Where's the WAP?
No, but I think people should be able to just have fun and not get shit on for
I agree.
having differing opinions than the vocal minority.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, David stole my answer. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
I'll just say,
I was just translating what
yeah.
I think that as content creators, every one of us draws like a certain line and should, you always have to acknowledge, like, anytime you put something out in the world, there's potential for criticism.
Yeah.
I'm happy that people had fun with the bracket. I had a lot of fun listening and watching. If you haven't watched the 6 hours, go watch it. It's fun. It was a good time. It was fun listening to them argue and battle and go back and forth. There was a couple. It was fun to live vote. I live voted a couple times. Eden Zero's, I think.
You voted for Eden Zero, right?
No, I'm pretty sure Eden Zero and Sign of Affection was one of the tiebreakers, and Eden Zero won from the chat, which is crazy.
Wow. Because you voted for Eden Zero?
I did not. I voted for Sign of Affection. I had never read a Sign of Affection, and I still voted for Sign of Affection. I was like, God damn it. So just know that that's part of it. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Colleen and what's the name? Is it
Cass?
Cass.
Cass Collects?
Shout out to Cass. Really cool that, no, it's not Cass Collects. It was like Tweets by Cass, something like that. That did the Shojosei Award.
Oh, you just texted it to me.
I know. I'm like, who's the...
Oh, Tweets by Cass, yeah.
Yeah, Tweets by Cass is the Twitter account.
Yep.
Shout out to Tweets by Cass and Colleen. It's really cool that you guys decided to put... I feel that passionately that communities should use it as an opportunity to build and grow and do your own thing and have fun with it. And that is what makes a discussion and conversation around manga and anime so much fun, is because we have this passionate respect for each other and we're all willing to dive in and have a good time talking about stuff. And it really only, when the discourse devolves into fuck you, fuck this, that is when it becomes no longer fun. It's not fun for anyone. Yeah. So I think that it's just so much better and wholesome to see what you guys are doing, and I love that that's the approach that you guys went with, and I think it's so cool because I think that it's put me onto a bunch of shoujo and josei that I'm curious about now. That's why I keep up with it. It's like, as someone who maybe isn't the target demographic for shoujo and josei, I always have to kind of seek out like, oh, what are some fun ones that I should read or try out, because I think it's just cool to get into some of that. And yeah, it might not end up being the right genre for me or something that I'm like really excited about once I start reading it, but it's really cool to find it and figure out what I do like or don't like about it, as opposed to just having, these debilitating back and forths between it feels like adults that act like children, to be honest. But
it's I mean, we kind of talked about the Shojosei's like Twitter community's frustration with how like publishers aren't publishing shoujo, so it's hard. There's like a very hard.
If you haven't seen
to shoujo,
2 episodes ago, we talked pretty in depth about that. Yeah, if you want to go check
I think Colleen has a whole video too on like how Shojosei is perceived in like America and whatever. But like she has great content over all of that.
Colleen, if you also see this, we actually would love to have you on here as well.
This episode is just coming around.
I actually would love Colleen to come on because she's super intelligent. She's right around David and I's age. Yeah. And she's so good at what she does, and
very passionate about.
I just think that as as 2 guys that essentially were raised in shonen and seinen, to get the other perspective on that would be so cool.
Yeah, 3 guys.
2 guys. I'm thinking. Sorry, we're the same age as her.
3 guys. 3 guys raised. In
Kenny was raised. No, Kenny just reads everything. So Kenny actually just has no bounds.
Cut my teeth on every
yeah.
page
Kenny would just like grab any manga he could eat.
That's how I do it.
But while David and I think we're much more in that Target demo, and we definitely stuck to that a little bit. I think it would be so fun to have Colleen on to have us have that side-by-side conversation to learn a little about what her experience was growing up as a fan. So, Colleen, genuinely, if for some reason you stumble on this, I'll tweet it at you or something. We would love to have you on. I think it would be a blast, and we could have a super fun conversation about shoujo, shonen, and exactly how, like, I think I would love to ask her about how, because one of David's first manga, I don't know if you guys know this,
was Vampire
actually a shoujo.
Night.
Young David read Vampire Night and was really into it. And I think at the time, it's so interesting to start, like, pulling back. Like, for me, I saw a guy reading Vampire Night. I was like, that's so weird, you know? Like, that's not normal. And David was like,
it's good.
I don't care. It's good, you know? And, you know, young Jerry was, like, so sucked into the whole, well, shoujo's not for me, you know? So it'd be really fun to peel that back a little bit. We could, like, genuinely talk about Vampire Night. Like, a cool, genuine...
What do you mean?
Someone actually knows
we talk about it every week. What do you mean?
I do think that generally the Shojosei community is not, like... They don't think Vampire Night is good.
No,
I do think
it's the thing.
From what I've conceived,
they're wrong.
It's nostalgic for me more than anything.
Yeah,
it's just funny. I know it's not.
It's funny that is actually part of your origin story, David, and that it's part of this. You know, as a podcast that really likes anime origin stories, I would love to hear Colleen. So,
absolutely,
Colleen, shout out to you. So,
all right, enough shilling.
On that note,
what else?
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That's the most important thing we're supposed to say.
You got it. Can you wrap us up?
Okay, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to the Uncensored Anime Podcast, where we are just trying to do our best to get our opinions to you. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow all of our social medias, upvote us on Anchor or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or like and heart.
Give us 5 stars.
Heart in the comments. Send F's in the chat.
Yeah.
Remember to close your PC all the way at the end of the night and have a good night.
What's the wrap up, Kitty?
Remember, we're all saying peace.
This has been another episode of the Uncensored Anime Podcast, and we're saying peace.
The One Piece is real.
The One Piece is real.